The Minister of Tourism, Mmamoloko Kubayi-Ngubane, has noted with concern the non-compliance by some restaurants since the move to alert level 2 of the COVID-19 risk-adjusted strategy. The South African Restaurants Association says it has received numerous complaints from ordinary law-abiding citizens, other operators as well as some employees about the situation in these restaurants. We talked to Wendy. She is the CEO at RASA, the Restaurant Association of South Africa, and she joins me now live on the line. A very good afternoon to you, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining us here on the SABC News channel.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting us.
All right. So how are these establishments flouting COVID-19 regulations? What exactly are they doing that they're not supposed to?
You know, one of the key things that we need to understand is that we are moving through the stages of lockdown, and there's a lot of misinterpretation that has been taking place whether or not there are still regulations that exist within level 2 within restaurants. And I think that's the first thing that we needed to get under control, is that there was a lot of social media that was doing on this here, which we've now got under wraps. I think the second part to understand is that the area within the restaurant sector, which is really the part that is really giving us the most amount of challenges, is the pubs and the bars. And, you know, after consideration, we understand that they have only been trading for 2 weekends. We spent a lot of time sending out information, reminding them what the protocols are, trying to learn and understand what the complexities are as to why there is this non-compliance that's taking place within that particular node within our industry.
So what exactly are they doing? What is it that they're not abiding to?
So a number of establishments are trading well after 10 o'clock, so they're reopening their establishments at 11 o'clock, trading through till the morning. We've had reports of on-sale of alcohol past the curfew. We've had the reports of on-sale of liquor through delivery services. A number of bars are having more than 50 people. There is some confusion. If you have a restaurant license, you're entitled to have unlimited numbers provided there's social distancing. But if you have a pub license in specific, your numbers are limited to 50. We also have a number of guests that don't want to complete the register or have their temperatures taken. So this has certainly caused a lot of pushback to the staff. There's been a lot of abuse taken from management and staff within the establishments. And we certainly need to appeal to both the public and to the management of these particular establishments that we need to use the disciplines that are available, and we need to move through the stages of level 2 in order to get to level 1. And we can't even begin to discuss lifting the curfew or even lifting any further restrictions and motivating it and lobbying for it unless we can prove that we are compliant as an industry.
And of course, we do know that the do's and don'ts during this alert 2 of the lockdown are out there in the public. Almost everyone should know what is expected of them. Do your members really know the devastating effects this could lead to?
You know, absolutely. And, you know, one thing that I've been saying to some of the discussions that we've been having is that we are reminded that many of our sit-down formal restaurants, as well as the takeaways, have been able to massage the ability to maneuver within their establishments and put the protocols in place and put it into a friendly way where it is favorable and not so abrasive for customers and our patrons to be exposed to. You know, the bar and pub sector is brand new. We've just reopened it. They've been closed for the longest of time. So we also understand, you know, that people are eager to get back to their local pub and their local bar and to enjoy and to reconnect with friends and to return to some normality. So whilst this is happening, we can't compromise the safety of our staff, our management, the owners, or any of the patrons that are existing there. So we certainly are doing a very, very strong call to the public to say, please work with us. We are also working with all players in the sector, large suppliers and liquor suppliers within the industry, to mobilize public awareness and to say, please, level 2 restrictions are not lifted as yet. And the only way we can move through this time is by having your support. And as we move through the stages of recovery, please don't make it difficult for the establishments or the staff that are merely trying to do their jobs and to be compliant and be law-abiding. Yeah. The 25 weeks for us has been very, very difficult. We've seen tremendous hardship, been a lot of pain in our industry, and we certainly don't want to move back into a space where we go backwards.
Yeah, and I suppose this is very concerning, Wendy, because this does not only risk the businesses' licenses, but also endangers the safety of the very same loyal customers that go into these establishments and dedicated workers as well.
the protocols, so whether we agree with the protocols or not, or whether we agree we should still be at level 2, or whether we agree that the curfew should be lifted or the restrictions should be further lifted, that is not where we're at the moment. What we have to do is we have to abide by the law, and the law, unfortunately, puts those protocols in place. The numbers are dropping, which is favorable to us. It lends to better conversation with governments to further have these ability to lobby for lifting of the curfew and lifting restrictions. I think that the bars and pubs on the report backs that we've had certainly feel very discriminated, that restaurants are allowed unlimited numbers, and then we've got some bars and some pubs that are bigger than restaurants that are limited to 50. So we're going right back to the beginning of where we were in a different sector of our industry. And this lends itself to a whole different host of discussions which will be taking place in the days and weeks to come to motivate the reopening of the sector even further.
And we know, of course, that the tourism minister has already written letters to restaurants insisting and appealing yet again for their cooperation. What's the association's plans to sort of enforce these regulations? Will you only be depending on law enforcement agencies for the enforcement of these regulations, or are you looking into having some really initiatives to talk to your members, to talk to these establishments to adhere to these regulations?
As we speak, we are engaging in initiatives at the moment to rate restaurants for compliance. So a very simple rating system, 4.75 out of 5 or a 1 out of 5, and that gives the consumer an informed decision whether to support that establishment. A lot of consumer reports and feedback that we've been given over the last 2 days, and our research is relatively new, that they choose not to engage in a visit to an establishment that is not working through the lines of having the right protocols. We're also not here to, we're in hospitality. We are not here to be police officers within our own establishments. And that is why we're calling for social responsibility and for patrons to be responsible and to collaborate with us within the sector to please, let's move through the stage and move forward into a favorable position that we can request to move to level 1. If I look at the numbers are definitely coming down. It's working for the industry. People are certainly, and I think from research around the world, we are one of the quickest industries where we've got such consumer confidence to move back into pubs and bars and restaurants. And I think one of the things that we need to also talk to, we need to be accurate in the data that has been dispensed, and we need to be speaking to the exact segment of the market that is irresponsible. We can't hold the entire sector responsible when restaurants are certainly displaying the highest levels of health and hygiene protocols through COVID as well as the takeaways. So they're not the part of our industry that is causing the unrest. It is a specific part, and we will manage and maneuver it. We'll continue to talk and educate. We are gaining information, and we're having dialogue that helps us to be in a better position to understand why there is this issue surrounding the non-compliance of the protocols.
All right, we have to leave it at that. We wait and see what happens going forward. That's Wendy Alberts. She is the CEO of the Restaurants Association of South Africa, talking to us about some establishments that are flouting the COVID-19 regulations that have been put out there by government. Let's